What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We are here today with a way too early power rankings here for the 2024 NFL season, looking at really who we think are the favorites for the Super Bowl. We're going to put them on a tier list here today. We got a couple categories. We got Super Bowl favorites for 2024. There's going to be a few teams up there. Very good football teams. All right, not every team can be great. There can be some very good ones that are going to be in the playoffs, that are going to do great things, that are going to, try to make some magic happen. Teams that could win the Super Bowl. A very good team can win the Super Bowl. Tier number 3, NFL average. Whether it's you got some really good pieces here, really bad pieces there, and there's a little bit of a middle ground here. There's a gap between very good and NFL average that a few teams might be in the mixture there. Below NFL average, you got the long road ahead group. Teams that got some big question marks, whether they're going to have a hole to fill, whether they're losing a lot of that team, new head coach, etc. And then you got poverty, some teams that are just... they don't even have a long road ahead. They just their road is a mess. It's a war field. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. Please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more. This is a fun little thing we'll do, and we'll start to make some other videos here as we move forward into the off season. Officially here, but season 2 on Party Chat Sports. This is the type of content we're going to start with here this off season. So, the first team that's going to get dragged to the list here is the Carolina Panthers. They're at number 32 on the list. Carolina, what are you doing, man? Not good. You got Bryce Young. Okay. What the rest of the team though? Shambles. You got an owner that's like crazy insane. You fired your head coach, the great hire that was going to develop your young quarterback. You fired him halfway through his first season. You didn't even draft the quarterback that the coaches wanted. It was an owner's decision. He didn't look that good in the rookie year. Just Panthers are number 32. They're in the poverty here. Number 31 team on the list is the New England Patriots, and I'm going to try to order these. We'll go right to left here. New England, fall from grace, and I don't think a lot of people are complaining. Gonna have new head coach Jared Mayo. See how he does. Really a turning of the page here for the Patriots, and maybe they should be in the long road ahead category because they do have quite a long road ahead, but I just couldn't pass up on the opportunity to put them at number 31 in the poverty area here. So that's pretty as an AFC fan here. You know me as a Steelers fan. I love to see that. See them at the bottom. They had their run for a while. Why don't they just take a back seat, figure out who the heck their quarterback's going to be. We'll see what falls to them in the draft. Again, this could all change right after the draft. They get a powerhouse quarterback, Drake May falls to them or something, and all of a sudden they move up a tier. I mean, it's that quick there for them. But for right now, number 31 in the poverty tier. Number 30, moving over to the NFC East here. I got to find the logo. We're going to go ahead and grab the New York Giants, the New York Football Giants. You paid Daniel Jones all that money. He got hurt, didn't finish the year. You're going to lose Saquon for free. Like, you're not going to get anything for that. You might get a comp pick with the free agency calculations, but weird weapons on offense, a defense that's meh, and just huge question mark at quarterback. And there's a lot of money tied up there. So really, what do you do if you're the Giants? It's a tough spot to be in, and they're right on that cusp of long road ahead to poverty. But right now, just especially with that money bag at quarterback, don't know how you get out of that, and really where you go from there. And I'd hate to look. I should probably have the draft order pulled up here to see where some of these teams are picking, so I can be a little bit more logical about perhaps what happens with these picks. See what some of these teams are. So the Giants are picking sixth. So it's right outside of the cusp of like, you land a good quarterback. Do you reach for like a Penix or a JJ or who even? Once you go past the top two there, it gets a little fuzzy. So Giants number 30 on the list. We're gonna move up a tier now, I think, and this is all discretionary. But number 29, and I had a real hard time trying to fit some of these teams on here. So like the teams 24 through 29, you could really interchange any of these. We're going to start with the Broncos. Long road ahead. 29th on the power rankings. Really quarterback question marks. The Broncos are picking at 12. They're not going to have Russell Wilson back, it looks like. It looks like he's pretty much done in Denver. And you really don't have any quarterback options behind that. So what do you do at 12? Does Denver trade for a guy like Justin Fields? I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're Denver, but you got Sean Payton leading the way. You got good defensive pieces there. You got wide receivers. So we'll see. Long road ahead for Broncos. Could they be higher on this list? I think absolutely they could. Like I said, the bottom of this list is kind of hard to map out. We'll move up though. Up one. On this will be the 28th ranked team, and that is going to be the Tennessee Titans. Will Levis got your quarterback. We got a quarterback. You don't know if he's the quarterback yet. He showed some flashes. He's got the cannon of an arm. Decision making was a little wild. He only started a handful of games there before he hurt his ankle there to close out his season. Will Derrick Henry be back? Did he play his last game as a Titan? I think that's to be determined. Obviously, fire Mike Vrabel, and you got a new coaching staff taking over there. So definitely on the long road ahead category, I think. Where do you go from here? Obviously, this team's going to try to build around Will Levis in his second year, see if he can make a little bit of a jump, be a little bit more consistent with his decision making. He's got an NFL arm. I mean, he can throw the ball and fit it into some tight spots. It's just the others, being consistent, 16, 17 game season, what can he bring to the table? Where's the rest of that roster at? So Titans there, number 28 on the list. Number 27, heading back to the NFC East, we got Washington Commanders. Long road ahead. Honestly, they should probably be like 29th or 30th, maybe even in the poverty tier. Let's move them down. They're getting demoted, live demotion there. They're going down to the poverty tier. So I guess they are now the 29th ranked. Everyone else moves up a spot. They seem to have a lot of issues. Not a good offense, not a good defense. But here's their saving grace. They're picking at number 2. So if you get Drake May, you go back up to being ahead of the Titans. That's your consolation prize, I guess. So that's the Commanders. They're kind of to and fro there. If you get your Drake May, see what you can build. Build around him. Get a solid O-line in place. Get some pieces on defense. I know they've acquired some draft picks by trading away some of their assets. So that's why they're in between. That's why I think I had them in long road ahead initially, because they got some capital to work with here. They got some spots in the draft where they can make some noise. I'm gonna move them back up. I'm indecisive. I don't know. We'll see. This is supposed to be before the draft, but I can't make up my mind. Washington Commanders, we're gonna put them back at number 27. Number 26 is going to be the New Orleans Saints. This is a team that is not in a good spot in terms of the cap space. Gotta be one of the worst in the league. You got Derek Carr, who's fine as an NFL quarterback, but they've kicked this cap can down the road so long. I really don't know where this team goes from here. So again, this is another team that, like I said, they could be number 30 in the poverty tier, honestly. But it looks like they're rolling with Dennis Allen another year. Where are they picking in the draft? I don't even know. The Saints are picking 14, so like in that purgatory range in the draft, where who knows if you're going to get a top guy, if you're not. Hard to say. You can't miss on your draft picks when you're trying to rebuild this team, and it's just hard to see anything but a long road ahead for a team like the Saints right now. So that puts them at number 26. Number 25, we're staying in the NFC South, and we're going with the Atlanta Falcons, a team that's got more pieces. You got Bijan, you got Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London, new head coach coming in. A team that looks a little bit better suited for the future. Obviously, still big question mark at quarterback. Does Kirk Cousins go there? Does Justin Fields go there? That's a team that you got to think is going to be acquiring a quarterback, because right now they're set at number 8. Do they trade up to get Caleb Williams at number 1? So definitely they feel like a quarterback away from being, if not NFL average, a decent football team. That's that middle spot between the very good and the NFL average that we'll get to. But yeah, it feels like they're moving in the right direction. Unlike some of these other teams that we've mentioned, they're doing the right things, I think. And we'll see what they do in the draft. We'll see what moves they make to get a QB. And we'll go from there with the Falcons. But they got some really good young stars, some young pieces. That defense is pretty good. So we'll see where the Falcons go from here. But they are your 2015. 24, kind of controversial, I guess, is the Cardinals. Thinking about the Cardinals, I guess, let's dive. They're going into year 2 with their coach. They got Kyler Murray. They ended up with the 4th overall pick, so kind of fell out of that Caleb Williams territory. Felt like a good team at points, like they had the Josh Dobbs weird time frame, and then Kyler came back and lit it up for a day and then went back to being bad again. I don't know. Falcons honestly should probably be in front of the Cardinals, so let's just drop the Cardinals back down a spot, put them in front of the Saints, I guess. Weird shuffling down here at the bottom of the board, but we're almost out of this long road ahead category. So, but the Cardinals, don't really know where you go from there. I guess Drew would be able to speak a little bit more on the Cardinals, listening to the Arizona radio, but we'll see. Number 4 pick in the draft, you got to get a stud right there, and then you go from there. You keep trying to build your team, but regardless, they're in this long road ahead category. That's kind of why I went with this tier list, because it's easier than just simple numbers being, this team's better than that team. They all got a long road ahead. Cardinals fall in that tier. And then number 23 on the list is the Chicago Bears. Number 1 overall pick holders. Big decision to make. It is a long road, and they're close to just getting up in the NFL average. If they make the right decisions, they nail that number 1 pick. You get, if Caleb Williams has a rookie year like CJ Stroud, they're right up into NFL average. They got some pieces on that defense. They got DJ Moore. So they're not far. What do they do with Justin Fields? Do they trade him? Do they keep him and build around him? That's a multi-million-dollar decision. I mean, they got to pick up Justin Fields' 5th-year option this year, I believe, which would be over $20 million. So that alone is a big decision. And yeah, I mean, this is a franchise-altering decision that they're going to have to make, and that's why I don't work for the Chicago Bears, because I'm not in the position to make those decisions for them. And obviously, having the number 1 pick back-to-back years, this time via Carolina. What do they do? Or not, they didn't have the number 1 pick. I'm sorry, Carolina had the number 1 pick, but Bears got it this year. What do they do? Because right now they're sitting at number 1. They're sitting at number 9. And you got Justin Fields on your roster. That can turn into a lot of draft picks and a lot of good stuff moving forward here. So let's see what happens. They're the last team in the long road ahead category, and can very quickly move up the board here into NFL average if they nail this offseason. So that's where we'll leave them. But moving up into the next tier, we got the Purple Purgatory team, NFL average for years and years and years, the Minnesota Vikings. And I'm not going to harp on them too much. I will shout out to Cam. Cam said in his power rankings, with Kirk Cousins healthy, the Vikings are number 10 in his power rankings. And without him, they're number 30. I think that puts you right in the middle at about the mid-teens to 20s. So on my list, they're 22. And that's including the fact that even with Kirk, they were 4-4 last year. So I think they're fine. They're NFL average. But where do they go from here? Do you bring back a Kirk coming off an Achilles who's 38, 37, however old he is? The roster is okay, and I'll let Cam speak to more on that. You know, he thinks Ivan Pace is a defensive superstar, and that's, you know, totally fine. He did hate on the O-line, said they were terrible last year, even though PFM ranked them 4th. So they were part of our fraudulent awards, if you saw the Party Chat Sporties a couple weeks ago. And we'll see. We'll see what the Vikings do. The Vikings are picking at 11. J.J. McCarthy territory? Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. But that's where the Vikings land right now. I think even with a Kirk Cousins healthy's in air quotes, because a 37-year-old coming off of an Achilles injury, is he going to be the same guy? You have no idea if he can come back from that. So Kirk may never be the Kirk he was in Minnesota ever again, and that's just the harsh reality of it. So I think that's a good transition into our next team, though. At number 21 is the New York Jets, a team that has the roster to arguably be top 10, at least the defense, that's for sure. They were, probably top 5 on the year. But that offense had some serious question marks, and Gil has harped on it. He's been harping on it with the Jets offseason videos. Go take a look at those if you haven't yet. But no backup plan at QB, and another team that has a very old quarterback coming off an Achilles injury. Can he be the same guy? We don't know. But then, from the other standpoint, and Gil's talked about this a lot, the wide receiver weapons, not a good room overall. Even though kind of for a second it looked okay, not a good room overall. Garrett Wilson, your guy. Everybody else, pretty much mediocre, below mediocre. So the offensive line, some question marks there. I'm pretty sure, obviously they needed a tackle. Steelers got Broderick Jones right in front of them. Defense, electric. But you got to have quarterback figured out. So what do they do there? What's their backup policy this year? Is Zach Wilson on the move? Will he be a New York Jet ever again? We will see, and I'll leave Gil to talk about the Jets even more from here. But we'll see what they do this offseason. They're picking at number 10, so we'll see what direction they decide to go there. Number 20, I'm going over to Vegas, Viva Las Vegas, and that is going to be the Raiders. So keeping Antonio Pierce, full-time head coach now, no longer the intern, and a pretty good roster, pretty good team. Max Crosby, got some pieces on defense, you got a running back, Josh Jacobs. The offensive line wasn't that bad. But again, what do you do at quarterback? I don't think you can run it back with Aiden O'Connell. Maybe you can. I don't know. They're picking at 13. You're going to get like a Penix or a JJ right there, or Bo Nix. One of these B-tier quarterback prospects, and expect to move up the ladder. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But they're average. They're a fine football team. That's why I got them here at number 20. Had a strong finish to last year. We're in the playoff hunt there for a little bit. And yeah, I think they're moving in the right direction with giving Pierce the head coaching job. So shout out to Cade, Raiders here at number 20. We're cooking here. Jags coming in next at 19 with a bona fide fraud at quarterback. He is still decent. He got an arm, not top 10 though. And yeah, the Jags just feel very NFL average right now. They were in driver's seat for the AFC South. They crumbled down the stretch. They fell apart absolutely. And just a weird spot for them. Kind of, they need to add some pieces and try to build around Trevor Lawrence and what they got going on down there. But if that doesn't turn out for them here in the next couple of years, and you got to decide if you're giving Trevor Lawrence the huge contract or not, if they haven't already. I forget, but they could very easily get into the long road ahead category. But they have a quarterback, so at least a quarterback that will play in the NFL for a long time, regardless of if he's going to get you there as a top 10 quarterback or not. So that's where the Jags fall at number 19. Comment down below, what you think about that. Number 18 coming up here on the board is the Seattle Seahawks. So Seattle, good team, right? Quarterback, I've never been on the Geno Smith train. I've never been in this Geno Smith resurgence that was going on over there. I think he was a product of the good team that he was on. good, decent defense, decent offense, great wide receivers, DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, JSN. But it feels like they need a difference maker. This is another area where, hey, maybe you get a Justin Fields, that team turns into a difference maker. Geno Smith, he's spreading the ball around, he's doing fine. But again, we just talked about it on the Super Bowl episode there. What are you going to need to get to that next level? What's it going to take, Seattle, to get over the hump? So we'll see. They're not picking until 16. So again, they're in that weird middle ground. Do you make a run at a different franchise, veteran QB, Russell Wilson return? Kirk Cousins coming into town. I don't know, but they're smack dab into the middle of this NFL average fringe range. So that's where they're gonna stay till they decide differently. But the next team on the list here is the LA Chargers. They got the quarterback. All right. Top 5 quarterback, in my opinion. He better be top 10 in your opinion. And now they got a really good NFL head coach. Jim Harbaugh is going to come in, and that team's going to be good. The Chargers have been missing one thing the past decade. It's been coaching. I mean, they've had rosters, they've had talent, and it's come down to bad coaching decisions for the past 3, 4, 5, Chargers fans may say 20 years. But it feels like they got one, and the Chargers have all the ability in the world to turn elite, especially that since they're picking at number 5 too, to go and grab another difference maker on that team, whether it be on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball. They're in a good spot. It's going to be an exciting time to be a Chargers fan. Hopefully, I know people say this every year with the Chargers, but kind of where they fall right now. So we will see how that all pans out. But we'll keep moving along. This video is definitely going to end up being a long one. But the next team is the Bucs. The Bucs here. Do you roll with Baker? Do you not? We had a little bit of a debate in the chat recently. The roster's good though. The roster's been good for a couple of years. They win an win a playoff game at home, beating the Eagles. You got to feel good about that. So it had a chance to take down the Lions too. So this Buccaneers team's no joke. Do you roll with Baker as your short-term answer? Do you try to draft something in the meantime? Buccaneers aren't drafting until pick number... I don't even know. I don't even see him on here. So 26. So you're not going to get the top guy there by any means. Obviously a first rounder, but we'll see where the Buccaneers are at. But right now they're at number 16. Number 15, I'm putting them, right now we're getting on the fringe here of very good football teams. Bengals, okay. Maybe this is where we make the switch of good, very good football teams. The Bengals there in that tier. They're always going to be a good football team. They got Joe Burrow, top 5, top 10 quarterback in the NFL. The roster's there, but now some of that cap hit's starting to hit them. They got to pay Burrow. His extension kicking in here soon. Jamar Chase is getting paid. You're going to lose T. Higgins. You're going to start losing pieces on that team. And we saw that team last year, even when it was healthy, was losing. And it was losing a lot. And then they started to come back into it, and then Burrow finally gets hurt for the rest of not finally, but he gets hurt for the rest of the season, and they're done. And they just go downhill. So Bengals, man, what do you do? Do you trust in Zach Taylor to be your quarterback or your head coach? I don't know, but we'll see. Number 14 is the Steelers, a team who swept the Bengals twice this year. Very good football team. I will harp more on the quarterback stuff if I haven't already posted it, and I've had many videos that I will talk about the Steelers in the future, so I won't harp on it here. They're a very good football team. They got a really good defense. The offensive pieces are there. The coaching should be in place now. We'll see where that takes them, but that puts them at number 14. Number 13 in the very good football teams list is the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to have their quarterback coming back, Richardson. That defense is good. They got weapons on offense. We'll see what happens, if Michael Pittman is staying or going. I've heard some things that he could be going. But Gardner Minshew got that team a pretty far away. So if you hit on your first-round quarterback, if he comes back and plays like a difference maker, that's going to continue to be a very good football team there. Next one is the Rams, and the Rams will continue to be a very good football team as long as they got Aaron Donald and Matthew Stafford and arguably the best wide receiver room in the NFL, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. They also had Tutu Atwell that was going crazy at points during the year. So we'll see. They're going to need to draft a lot of defense, it feels like. They got a lot of no names on defense. But McVay at head coach, you're in a good spot. The Rams are a very good football team. Took it to the Lions in their house in the playoffs this past year. So I got nothing wrong with the Rams. I think they're going to be all right. They're number 12. They could be 13 or 15. These kind of 4 teams are all interchangeable, I think, on this little area of the grid. But then we'll go into number 11, and perhaps this is what's the word? Controversial. The fraudulent Dolphins. They're good, okay? As long as, for 2024 football season, they're going to be a good team. Now, are they going to make it to the Super Bowl? Probably not. It doesn't feel like they're elite. They feel like they crumble down the stretch, but if you're playing them during the 2024 season, they're going to be a very good football team, and they're going to have speed on all areas of the field, and Tua's going to try his best. So that's what lands them here. I don't know what else to tell you. They are kind of fraudulent, but they also had a lot of wins. So I don't know what to tell you. It's hard to win in this league. Now we're into the top 10, and we're going to keep that same vibe here with the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, very good football team. They were 9-1 or something, crumbled down the stretch, embarrassed in the playoffs, a clown at head coach. But again, they're a good football team if you're playing them in 2024, and they will probably win a lot of games. I don't know how else to quantify myself when I say that, to put them here. Comment down below, sound off what you think. Drew obviously hates them. Filthy, all that good stuff. So we'll go from there. Now you're starting to get into really for real some very good football teams. How do I want to do this? I'm looking at my next 3 teams right now, and I'm kind of all right, we're gonna do this. The Browns are number 9, and I hate the Browns. As a Steelers fan, Browns hate the Steelers. That's totally fine. They're a very good football team. That defense is unreal. They have a very good defensive edge player. He's not the best defensive player in all of football, but nonetheless, he is very good on a very good defense. What they did last year with all those injuries was very surprising, and they played very well given the circumstances. That took a lot for me to say. But their quarterback situation is kind of icky. Is Deshaun Watson trash? He might be. Straight up. Maybe bring back Joe Flacco just in case he is. That feels kind of dangerous. It feels like what version of Deshaun Watson are you getting? And that good version of him is slowly starting to become many, many years in the past now. So what is he at this point in time? Nonetheless, they're a very good football team. And then number 8, the team that beat them, rightfully so, goes ahead of them right now, is the Texans. And the Texans, I made a whole video on them specifically earlier this year. Go check it out. They're in such a good spot right now. It's unbelievable. You got a guy at QB. He's going to be top 5 in the near term. You got a great head coach. You got a system. You got a culture in place. You're building around that team. I can't say enough about where the Texans are at right now, and I am happy for Texans fans. Good for you. First time kind of ever you started to get powerhousey with your team, so good for the Texans. And then, number 7 is going to be the Green Bay Packers, and I know what I said about the Texans beating the Browns and why they're ahead of them, and you see what's happening here. But the Packers are number 7, and they're a good football team. I don't think I am as much of a Jordan Love truther as other people, and that's totally fine. He's a good quarterback. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC because they don't have a lot of good quarterbacks in the NFC. Good team all around. But again, if we're playing the Packers in 2024, are you scared of them? They lost a lot of games in 2023. They got hot at the right time and they beat the Cowboys in their own place, and then they played the 49ers pretty hard in their place. Those are weighty games. Those are huge playoff games. I get that. In the 2024 season, though, if you see the Packers on your schedule, you're going to be shivering in your boots. I don't think so. If you play them in the playoffs, maybe, especially if you're this next team. And that next team is the Dallas Cowboys. So like I said, obviously I just went backwards from what I said. The Texans beat the Browns, and the Texans are in front of the Browns. The Packers beat the Cowboys, and they're behind the Cowboys. However, if this was a playoff bracket, half of these teams wouldn't be here, and the Packers would be in front of the Cowboys, because I think we all know the Packers own the Cowboys. But this is a 2024 year ranking, and I'm going to put the Cowboys ahead of the Packers, because the Cowboys are a fantastic regular season team, and they're a terrible playoff team. I don't know what that means. This just feels right. If I'm talking 2024 power rankings, this feels like the way it should be, in my opinion. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'm sure Drew is going to, I would think he would agree, but he also might be scared of the Packers. I think he is. But now you got your top 5. These are your Super Bowl favorites for 2024, and by now you're going to see who these teams are. You've probably deduced, but number 5 is your Detroit Lions. Super Bowl favorites. They got the roster. They got the head coach. Caveat, Jared Goff, getting 1 year older, still in his young 30s. We'll see what pieces they can add to this team, how many more kneecap-biting guys are going to get, and then can they get over the hump? And that hump is going to be decisions made by their head coach. Because what their head coach is going to do is they're going to give the players the opportunity to win ball games. Right or wrong from an analytical standpoint, that's what's going to happen. And the players on the Lions need to be able to execute and win the game in that moment, because Dan Campbell is going to go for it. He's as aggressive is. And those players need to be ready at the very least. So they're at number 5. They are a Super Bowl favorite for 2024, and a very heavy favorite at that. They're at their top 5 on my list. So number 4 is the Buffalo Bills. So I was asleep on the Buffalo Bills, and again, let's just reassess for a second. Coming into the year, a lot of us were saying the window was closed for the Buffalo Bills. They were getting older. I was one of these people. They were getting older. Roster was getting worse. But they still have Josh Allen. And regardless of your opinions of him, Josh Allen is a very good quarterback. And they're here. They're on this list. They're number 4. They couldn't get it done when the Chiefs, and we said the worst Chiefs team in years, but they ended up being the Super Bowl champions. They couldn't get it done in their own house with a home divisional game, but it was Super Bowl champions. So take that with what you will. But they got to get some weapons here. They got to get some wide receivers that aren't divas. They got to get some weapons there. They got to just add some pieces to that defense. The defense is aging. The defense is injured. Add some rejuvenation, and I think you can crack that window open a little bit. So I'm not going to slam it shut, but they're here. I don't know that I would pick them out of these top 5 teams, though. And number 3, what to do? It's the 49ers. I say this because, one, history is going to tell us that the 49ers will not be back if Brock Purdy is their quarterback. That's just history. But also, for the year, they're going to be a scary team that you don't want to play. They're good. That's all there is to it. There's a reason they made it to the Super Bowl. They have an Avengers team. How well are they going to be able to keep that team together? In theory, they're going to be able to hold it together pretty well. You still don't got to pay Purdy for another couple of years, so you're still paying him $900K a year, so you can still afford all these guys. So can you make it back, and can you not wilt in the pressure and crumble? We'll see, but I'm going to put them at number 3. That was a last-minute change, but they're number 3. Number 2 is going to be your Baltimore Ravens, and as a Steelers fan, pains me to say it, it's just the truth. They're really good. They crumbled in the AFC Championship. Me and Gil talked about it. They stopped doing what got them there, and they didn't win that game. They're good, though. That defense is immaculate. The offense is pretty darn good. If they just stay healthy at running back for like 1 year, their running game is going to be insane. Lamar's passing ability is adequate. If you've listened to me, you know how I feel about that. But they're number 2. They're going to be favorites again. They're going to be in a loaded AFC North. Obviously, you can see all 4 AFC North teams are in the top 2 tiers of this list. So the AFC obviously is loaded, and can they get out of it and make it to have a home AFC Championship game again? I don't know. Again, that home game is going to come down to the final week once again. We'll see who gets it. But the number 1 team is going to be the defending champs, and until they prove otherwise, that they aren't one of the best AFC teams right now, and that they're not in the middle of a dynasty, and they don't got the greatest quarterback or top 2 quarterback of all time under center, they're gonna stay there. I mean, why? Where else are you gonna put them? It's the Chiefs. They're the champs. Back to back now. What felt like the worst Chiefs offense in years, still got it done in the Super Bowl. That Chiefs defense was no joke. They came out to play. They looked fantastic. And that's where we're going to leave it. So let me know. Obviously, this is way too early because there's a whole offseason yet to be had. But that's the nature of what we do, because we all miss football already. And I want to be watching the 2024 season unfold before me. So this is it. This is the tier list. Let me know if you liked it, what you didn't agree with. I'm sure there's plenty. Let me know in the comments down below. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe for more Party Chat Sports content coming your way. And we'll see you all next time. Peace.